Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel where we discuss all things narcissism. Let's have a look at some red flags of a narcissistic person, some signs that you might be dealing with a narcissistic person. One of the first things about a narcissist is they need to be in control of all situations, of relationships, of people. They like to be in control. So they need to control the narrative so that things work in their favor. They need to control the situation so that things work in their favor. They need to control other people's feelings so that things work in their favor. Narcissistic people do like to be in control of everything. Now, we can all come across people who like to be in control of certain situations. We can come across people who have things such as OCD, so things need to be in a certain place to make them feel good. Without at least 5 of the 9 criteria and repeat patterns of behavior, without them being exploitative towards others, just because somebody is controlling in one aspect of their life does not make them a narcissistic person. However, it is a big red flag to watch out for if there are other behaviors that accompany the controlling behavior. And one of those other behaviors is they do not take responsibility. They don't find themselves to be at fault. Whatever goes wrong within their life is always going to be somebody else's fault. They don't take responsibility for their behavior. They don't take responsibility for their words. They don't take responsibility for their actions. They don't take responsibility for their children. What they do is they seek to pass the blame, which is another sign. They seek to find somebody else to blame for their behavior. If they can scapegoat another person, it means that they don't have to take responsibility. They don't have to face the consequences. Narcissistic people, another red flag is that they will never be wrong. You can't hold a narcissistic person accountable because they simply do not take responsibility and they look to shift the blame onto somebody else, and they will go all out to frustrate you, to gaslight your reality in order for them to be in the right and to make out that you are the one that's in the wrong. They're incredibly judgmental, and this is usually down to their envy. When they're envious of something that someone else has got, they will often put it down. They will be very judgmental of the people around them, and it's usually because they're envious of those people. They seek to tear everybody else down so that they can feel superior. They play the victim to the circumstances that they created, and they do this so well that it's hard to work out who is the genuine victim in the situation. What you'll often find with a narcissistic person is they will fail to take responsibility for their behavior and they will play the victim in the circumstances. And they kind of have a sort of tunnel vision. There's sort of something there, so they can't grasp why somebody would respond to them in a certain way. They can't understand how one decision that they made led to the circumstances that they are now in. They perceive themselves to be perfect on the outside, and they're trying to sell that illusion. So they go around blaming and shaming everyone else. They don't see how their actions have led to the consequences. They don't take responsibility and they need to remain in control, so they rewrite history in order to serve themselves. And one of the best ways they can do this is by playing the victim, because they're looking for that sympathetic attention. If they can't gain the admiration, they're going to go all out for that sympathetic attention. They lie a lot. And they can just lie over the small things in order to get away with things. They can lead you to believe something and not correct you on it. So when you find out the truth, they can turn around, fail to take responsibility and just claim, it's not my fault, that's what you thought. because they're distancing themselves from taking responsibility for their behaviour. They lack the empathy to care. Now, on the outside, they might come across all caring towards children, towards animals. When they are in public, when there's an audience, they might go above and beyond with just how helpful they are with their family, just how community orientated they are. Yet behind the closed doors is when you see them act quite cruelly towards animals. When it comes to a narcissistic person, you can be sat watching a TV show about transplants, and you can just strike up a conversation and say, oh, if that was my daughter, if that was our daughter, if that was our son, if that was our grandson, if that was our granddaughter, and I was a match, I would definitely give it to them. And you will find the narcissistic person, if there's an audience, they might claim they would. But if there isn't an audience, they might sit there and say, well, no, I need my kidney. No, I need my lung. What would I give my lung away for? And they just don't seem to grasp the concepts that a loved one could potentially die. They're more interested in saving themselves. They will play nice, which is one of the most confusing things about them, is they can treat people so well, and it is a game to them. It's done in order to exploit people, in order to gain that admiration, in order to use what they do for others against people. When someone says no to them, they can just simply turn around and say, well, after all I've done for you. It shows that they didn't do it for that person. They did it for themselves. They did it to exploit the other person. They did it to keep the other person confused. More often than not, a narcissistic person will do something for another person because they're looking for that validation. They're looking for that admiration. They're looking to remain in control. So they don't do a good deed out of the goodness of their own heart. They do a good deed to sell people that false belief of who they are as a person. So that if anyone dares then speak out about them, and a narcissist might do this intentionally, or they might do it instinctively. They might just do something nice for another person in order to gain that admiration. However, when someone tries to then speak out about the narcissist, because the narcissist has done something nice for that other person, the enabler can then turn around and say, well, they've never done anything like that to me. They're very good to me. They're very kind to me. They're very caring to me. As that enabler doesn't see the person in their entirety. They're getting the glimpses of the narcissist, that the narcissist is selling to that person. And a narcissistic person can create a fabrication of who they are as a person to exploit others. Whether a narcissistic person can be the grandiose narcissist in one scenario around one group of people, where they're looking to have been on the best holidays, own the best car, earn the most amount of money. And then they can be the vulnerable, fragile narcissist around another set of people, where they're looking to exploit things from those people, gain that advantage over those people, get that sympathetic attention so that those people want to help and support the narcissist. They don't have to just be grandiose or just be vulnerable. They can be a mixture of both, and depending who they are around and depending on the needs that they are trying to get met, which is that red flag that they are seeking that excessive attention, they're seeking that admiration, they're seeking that validation, and they're seeking to remain in control. Any signs you noticed, as there are quite a few of them, please do add those into the comments for those reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.